Hi folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to ALCHEMOTO's workshop, and as the title says, we are going to do a shootout now and find out which is the best of the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay units, sat-nav stroke, whatever, for your bike. So back in the garage, we've got the third parcel sent to me by another company. So as you know, we've tested the CARPURIDE, we have tested the MT2 from LINKIFUN, and they're both cracking units. But is this third one the best? Let's find out. Okay, so the first thing I notice is how well packaged this box is. So let's have a look inside and see what it's all about. Okay, so the first thing is we've got a wiring diagram here, and there's the unit there. I think it's 6.86 inches, the screen, all in all. Beautiful, well-made unit, nice shape as well. That's going to complement the top of the dashboard on the bike. So looking at the back there, that's the mounting points here for the mounting hardware, which we'll find out in a minute. So there's the screen. In the first box, again, look how well this is packaged. Brilliant stuff. All about quality. So in the first box, we've got a little toolkit. So they even supply a little mounting kit there. Again, some more mounting hardware. I think that is for the remote control for the handlebars. And then the main wiring loom from your battery, looks like a fused link then to the unit itself, which are all sort of self-explanatory little multi-plugs that go onto each camera and whatnot. Second box, look at that again, really well packaged. And these are the cameras. So we've got the cameras, and there's one of the cameras, that's the rear camera. That is an absolute beautiful piece of mounting hardware. That's the first time I've seen a solid mounted, looks like aluminium or aluminum if you're from the US of A. That's a beautiful piece of kit. Fantastic. So what we're going to do now is get it on the bike. So I'll just run you quickly through the wiring that I've done so far and show you how I've done this on the Pan America. It's going to be similar to most bikes depending on where your battery's fitted. Okay, so as with the MT2 and the very, very similar camera units, I think it's slightly bigger lens on here, but the same idea in how it fits on as well. You've got the 3M pads as well to stick the cameras on, and they do give you spares in the bag as well. So I'm going to run this cable in along here, comes through here, it's going to go up through the bottom of the tank, and then my wiring, one thing I have is a little stipple for wiring, everything's got to be spot on. So you can see the loom that I've created here. These are the two fuse links. Okay, so that goes down to my battery underneath and then comes up here. Got to tidy all the wiring up around inside here, and then these are the connections here. So front and rear camera, auxiliary, remote and whatnot. So everything's there, nice and easy. And then you've got the quick release ones at the back here. So I'll tidy this up. So that's the auxiliary. Two at the back here are the two quick release ones if you want to remove the unit from the bike. And then the front camera on my front panel is here, and then that wiring will just go underneath the front, and then we're all done. Okay folks, SPEDAL NAVICAM CL876. So we've got the unit installed on the bike now. It's looking great on the Pan America. So we're just going to show you how I've wired it up, just go through it quickly and then go through some of the details on the system. So obviously it's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's got a tyre pressure monitoring which is optional, so I've got the optional tyre pressure monitoring. Even though my bike has that fitted from factory, it's nice to have a second display as well just to go off. It says here 1080 front and rear cameras optional. Now in here on the screen it does come up as 4K, 2K plus 2K, I'm guessing that's front and rear, so I'm going to class them as 2K. Probably an updated one since this model came out. Automatic dimming as well on the screen, which is handy, and IP65 waterproof. So that's what you get in the box. So let's show you how it works, folks. Okay, so we'll start off at the back end. You can see where I've put the camera here. It's similar to the last one that I fitted. Great camera. Wiring is just tucked underneath the frame, along here, underneath the bike. and then my wiring comes up from a battery which is down below, and then up through the center, and then up to the back of the screen here. The front camera fitted on here, and then closer look at the unit. As you can see, I've used the 1-inch RAM mount. I've done away with the mounting. Now the mounting that comes with the SPEDAL NAVICAM is a brilliant mount. Don't get me wrong, it is fantastic. It's probably the best one, or it is the best one out of all 3 units I've tested. Unfortunately for my adaptation, it's not going to work that well, and I already had the sat-nav mount on the back of here and the ball for the RAM mount fitting. So what I've done is just used the ball off the NAVICAM. Can't really make out there, but I've used the 1-inch ball mount and then just put the RAM mount on to use that instead. So it just fits it better for me. But for your purposes, for the bar mount, what's in the box might just do for you. Okay, so that's how it sits on the bike. So I've got that just above my main screen. Beautiful fit, just looks so good there. So when we switch it on, you'll see exactly how it looks, and with the Pan-Am's screen on as well. We'll just briefly bring you to the remote system, which is here, the A and the B buttons. That was a little bit of a pain to fit. I've made my own mount, so again, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a little while. So let's switch the unit on. Okay, so we hold down the A button, give that a press. You see the unit now booting up, and then straight into the home screen. So I'll just bring you a little bit closer. Okay, so you can see we've gone straight into the main map screen there. Now, I read a lot online with these and on the forum sites for SPEDAL and on their advertisement sites. And there was a couple of people said they couldn't get maps, or the map was only a half screen. You can, obviously, you can see there the proof is in the pudding. Put it into a full screen mode. It's just the case if you're just going to go back in your settings and click from split screen into full screen. If you want to do a split screen, if you press this, you can see it brings up here now for some of your news and whatnot on podcasts and things like that you want to listen to. Okay, so you just click the top button there, and then that brings you back to full screen. So that clarifies that you can run this in the full screen mode. My only gripe with this is I've not found out yet whether I can make these icons just a little bit bigger. They are a touch small, so if you've got gloves on, you might struggle with that. Not a problem though, because you can still use the remote and toggle between your cameras and your home screen and your maps there just by pressing the B button. A button, you can take a photograph just by clicking the A button. If you get a phone call coming through your headset as well, you just give it a quick press and then that'll answer the phone. It's just took another photograph at the moment because there's no call coming through. And if you want to cancel an incoming call as well on your headset, you just press briefly the B button. There's a few more settings that you can do with that, but that's just briefly for now. I'll just bring you to that remote just for a second. Okay, so the remote, you can see I have made my own bracket down here, put a bit of 3M backing tape on, took one screw out from my mirror bracket and then screwed it on, so I've got it just perfectly on my bar controls. So if I've got the grip on here, I can quite easily just press this or press this button to do what I want. So for me, that was a better idea. I'll just show you what was included in the box. So in the box, I'm just going to take off this director's view. Is what you got for the handlebar mount. It was 2 3M pads. You had this bracket that slides around your handlebars between your grip. This went onto the A and B button, but for me it was just a little bit flimsy and not that good. And I'll just briefly show you. Go over to the other unit, and their system for the buttons was for me just a little bit more professional. So SPEDAL, just take note that that one's off the LINKIFUN unit, and that one is to me just a little bit more of a finished product than what you did supply obviously with this unit. But don't let that put you off. I mean, it's once you get your head around it, it's still a brilliant system. It's just some things are not going to work for you, so you just got to modify them a little bit more to make it work for you. So in my case, everything was brilliant apart from the handlebar control. I was sat there twiddling my fingers, looking at what was in the box and thinking, I just can't make this work. So you have to adapt. So for a little bit of ingenuity, tiny bracket, one drill hole, you know, I made it work for me. So don't let that put you off. But we'll just go into the unit now itself. Link this to any headset, and obviously this is linked to my phone. If you want to go to, this is the camera modes here, split your camera modes. You can split to a rear view one, which is a full screen, split the other way to, to the rear screen, or a dual screen camera there. Stop button there for stopping recording, and then you can choose your video loop, I think between 1 minute 3 and 5, not quite sure if that's correct, it's something like that. Takes a photo there, and then you can lock your videos as well so they're not overwritten on your memory card. You can save them. Now in the box you can see I've used the thumb screws on here. So these are the quick release thumb screws. They supply security screws or the thumb screws which I have used on my installation here. And the reason being is if you don't want to leave it on the bike for security, you've left your bike alone for whatever reason, you can remove these thumb screws, undo it on the quick release plugs here, so you can then remove the unit and then you can put it away safe in your top box, out of sight, or keep it with you for security reasons, or you can just use the anti-tamper screws and leave it on the bike full time. Tire pressure monitoring, you can see here I've got my front and rear tire pressures. We can check those obviously with what's on the bike. So when my Pan America boots up, you can see it's non-intrusive to the factory screen at all. We've got that mounted just right. So we've got front tyre 34 on the SPEDAL screen, it's 33, 37 for the rear, and I've got 39 for the rear. So there's a slight little difference off there, but we'll have to see whether that changes when the tyres are warm. You can go into the settings on here, setting stops the recording, record resolution, currently 4K, split the time, so 1 minute, 3 minute and 5 minute increments for the recording for each clip. Image mirror, which will flick the screen on the rear, so if you're on, say, the left hand side of the road, if it's not mirrored, it'll look like it's facing the other way, if you know what I mean. So that just puts it back into a true reading. Screensaver, that's if you're not touching the screen, how long you want the screen to stay on, it'll go blank. If you're not got the maps on. Date and time, format, you can format the memory card, as easy as that. Factory reset and firmware version there, so everything's easy. The touchscreen's brilliant. We'll have to see what it's like after it's got rain on it. But so far, folks, it's looking good. So the only thing we've got to do now is take it for a test. Now, I won't be on the pan probably for a while. I may have one little ride in between, but I'm actually going on tour in a couple of weeks. So I've got a week's tour, so I'll be leaving the SPEDAL NAVICAM on the Pan America and taking it for a week's test on tour. So whether it's sunshine, whether it's rain, we'll give this thing a good thrashing and see how it performs out in the wild. But for now, comparisons. If I want to compare it with the CARPURIDE, the 702, which I had fitted, is a bigger screen. So you're going to get quite a bigger map in proportion to what you've got on the other two units. The buttons are slightly bigger for each touchscreen, so it's a little bit easier to navigate when you've got gloves on. To the MT10 for the LINKIFUN, again, I have no problems with that unit. I thought the install was very good. I thought the everything was professional with the wiring and including the handlebar control. And I had no problems whatsoever with the headset intercom or anything with that unit. It worked flawlessly, as did the CARPURIDE with me. Okay, so with the NAVICAM, straight out of the box, everything that comes, very professional, very expensive looking. It looks the part. They give you extra screws with this. The mounting hardware itself for the screen, for the bracket to the back to whether you want to mount it on the bars, I thought was the best out of the three. I've only used the ball mount like I've explained and used the RAM mount with it, but it does give you that option. It's easier to mount than, say, the other two units. I thought the CARPURIDE was probably the more difficult one to mount unless you've got the BMW with the adapter. So all in all, apart from the slight problems with the switch control for the bar mount, which is easily rectified yourself, the wiring I thought was a little bit more fiddly than the LINKIFUN MT10, but again, nothing wrong with the wiring. I thought the way it's got the braided wiring for the main loom harness and everything else looks like quality gear. So there's no problems at all with any of the units we've installed. But which one is the best? Well, until I've done a week's tour with this one, I can't really give you an on-ride experience. I've got that with the CARPURIDE and I've got that with the LINKIFUN MT10, but not yet with the SPEDAL. So you'll have to wait, folks, for the final impression on this. I'm not going to do any affiliate link or anything with this. Go and check it out yourself. I'm not after any 10% discount. I'm not going to put any codes up at all. I'm not going to do that. All I want to show you guys is it worth buying for your bike? Any of the 3 units that I've tested are worth buying. It's what's suitable for you. For me, I've not decided quite yet which one I'll be leaving on the bike until I've done the week's long test with this unit. Then I'll make a decision. But whichever one you decide, not a problem. I've not got a problem with any of the installations with any of them. You can manage to do it to your bike however you feel fit. It's just a matter of making it to fit your bike, because every bike is different. Every mounting bracket is different. I've purchased a sat-nav mount for the Pan America. There is countless ones available for that, the same as if you've got a Triumph Tiger or any other adventure bike or any other bike you want to mount the unit to. So again, folks, it's completely up to you. But what do I think of the units? I think it's brilliant not having your phone on your screen, whereas the countless problems I've had before with moisture getting into the leads and then stopping charging, and then you've got to wait for it to dry out. And if you're camping for the weekend and you get moisture in your charge lead in your phone and you can't charge, sometimes it takes hours and hours to dry that out. With these, you don't have to worry about that, because your phone is either in your top box safe, in your pocket out of the way of the rain, and you don't have to worry about this getting wet. It takes control of everything, and your maps are on the screen in a bigger screen than you'll have with your mobile device, more than likely. So again, I think they're brilliant units to have. It's just finding the right one for your bike. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this one on the SPEDAL NAVICAM CL876. I think it's a brilliant unit. If you want to take a closer look at them, I'll put the link to SPEDAL on the comments section. If you want to click that and go and have a look yourself, then it's entirely up to you, folks. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing you soon. See you later, folks.